Hi team, greetings everyone. In our previous session, we saw the topics called as different levels of execution, right? So we were seeing how to execute the same script step-wise, script-wise and module-wise, right? Different levels of execution we were seeing. In today's session, we are going to see a new concept called as pre and post condition. So let us discuss about pre and post condition first. So what is a precondition and what is a post condition? So when I say precondition, a set of condition which needs to be executed before the actual steps. So what do you mean by actual steps here? So in our automation script, we are writing in the FireFlink platform, right? We will be writing the steps. All those steps are called as actual steps. Okay. Now I want set of condition to be executed before the actual steps. That what I'm going to call it as precondition. Okay. What is post condition then? Simple. The set of conditions which has to be executed after the execution of actual steps. So when it is before, it is precondition. When it is after, it is post condition. Okay. Let us take an example. I have a cart module. Under that, I have an automation script, and that is for adding the product to the cart, right? So now if I want to add a product to the cart, let us take the shopper stack only, right? So here I want to add the product to the cart. First thing is I have to log in as a user, correct? So what will be my first condition? Log in as a user. And then what I have to do? I have to search for the product and I have to add the product to the cart, right? For those things, I will be writing the steps. So once after I successfully added the product to the cart, what I have to do? I have to close the particular browser, right? So here we are doing automation. Once the execution is done for the particular scenario, what we have to do? We have to finally close the browser, right? This is my automation script now. Now, these steps indicate the steps which we are going to add in the script. What about this particular login as user, close the browser? So can I say login as user can be my precondition before executing the automation script for this particular adding the product to the cart? Because whenever I'm going to execute this particular script, first thing is I have to log in as a user, right? So that I can perform the add to cart operation in that particular application, right? Once after adding the product to the cart, what I have to do? Finally, I have to close the browser. So can I say this close browser can be my post condition? So here, these are my steps and this is the condition which needs to be executed before this particular step. And this is the step which needs to be executed after executing these particular steps for the adding product to the cart. So here, my precondition will be logging in as a user and my post condition will be closing the browser, right? This is my pre and post condition. Let us see this in FireFlink platform. So now if you can see, I have a cart module. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add an automation script under this particular module now. Okay. So how do we do that? Just click on this plus button, add automation script. So give the numbering TAC001 underscore verify the user is able to add product to cart. And let me keep the script type as web and let me just click on create. So this is creating my automation script. And here if you notice, steps are reflected. But I want to add a precondition, meaning that I want to execute something before this particular step. In that case, what we have to do? As of now, we are inside a particular script, right? So what are the navigations that we have? We have automation steps, variables, settings. What is this settings is for? It is for multiple purpose. One of the purpose is adding the pre and post condition. When you are inside a script level, you can use this settings option. Just click on the settings option. So once you click on settings option, if you can see precondition, post condition. I want to add a precondition. What is my precondition? I want to log in as a user. So here we added a step group called as navigate to home page, which will be logging me as a user into that particular shopper stack application, right? So what I will do, I'll just click on this precondition plus precondition. So here observe what it is saying, search for step group. But when I go to automation steps, let me just go to automation steps. When I click on this plus step, now what it is suggesting? search for NLP. But when I go to settings and when I go to this plus precondition, it is saying search for step group. So what is the understanding? Whenever you are going to add the pre and post condition, you can add only step groups as pre and post condition, right? So what is my precondition here? I want to navigate to the home page, right? So let me check. So this is navigate to login page. This is navigate to home page as user A. And this is navigate to home page, which is parameterized. Now what I will do, I want to log in as user A. So what I will do, I'll use this particular step group. Open Shopper Stack, navigate to home page. Select this. So once you select that particular step group, it is asking this particular pop-up. Here it is giving the step group name and it is asking status, enabled or disabled. If it is enabled, this precondition will be executing. If it is disabled, this precondition will not be executing. I want it to execute. So what is the status we have to give? Enable. And here if you notice, we have something called as if-else checkpoint. We already saw this, right? Let me click this. But here if you notice, it is showing multiple options. We have seen 5 options, but here it is 7 options are there. Okay, let us read one by one. Mark this step as failed, continue script execution. We have already seen. Mark this step as warning and continue script execution. We have already seen. Mark this step as failed and stop the current iteration. So here it is mentioned as iteration. What is this iteration? Okay, let me go to the next one. Mark this step as failed and stop all iteration. So if you notice, these two if fail checkpoint are new with respect to iteration. So to understand this particular iteration concept, we need to know about the data providers. So once we learn data provider concept, we will explore these two options, right? Just like we explored this module options once we learned this module level execution, right? In the same fashion, we will learn these two concepts once we learn the data provider, right? It's a future topic which will be covered, right? So here if you can see these other particular if fail checkpoints we have already seen. Mark this step as fail and stop script execution. I will go with this one. So now I'll just click on add. So once I click on add, it is saying precondition added successfully. Okay. Now how do we see it? If I go to automation steps, if you can see my steps is there. Before my step, precondition is reflecting, and if I expand it, I can see the particular precondition. Right? And here if you can see, we have again a run until button. And if I click on this particular step group, here also I can change the particular information, whether I want it to be enabled or disabled, or if I want to change the if else checkpoint, I can change it, right? I'll just cancel this. So this is my precondition. I have added the precondition. So this precondition, what it will do, it will navigate me to the home page. So once after navigating to the home page, what I have to do, let us see that in the actual application. Let me go to Shopper Stack application. See, now I have to log in as a user first. Let's save this. Now, if you can see, I have already logged in as a user. Once I navigate to this particular home page, what I have to do? I have to search for a product, right? I'll just go to men. I'll add this product to the cart. Now, I have to click on men and I have to click on this add to cart button so that that product will be added to the cart. So these are the steps that I have to write in my automation script. For that, I have to capture the respective elements and I have to store it in the repository. Let us assume that I have added all those steps. Now, finally, once after I am verifying whether the product is added to the cart or not, what I have to do? I have to close the browser, right? In my automation session, right? So here, after adding the steps, what is my last condition? I have to close the browser. Can I give that as a post condition? Yes. Go to settings and here we have a separate option called as post condition. Click on this post condition. And here also if you can see, if you can just click on this plus post condition, what is the suggestion you are getting? Search for step group. Either it is post condition or precondition. So what are the things that you can add? Only step groups, right? So now I want to add close browser as my post condition. Let me just click on this close browser. So once I click on it, again I'm getting the same pop-up. Here if you can see the step group name, status, whether I want it to be enabled or not, that we know. And here it is saying one more option, must execute, enabled. So here it is saying must execute. So what is this must execute? let us see this with the automation steps. Okay, now it is enabled, right? What I will do, I'll just give the if fail checkpoint and let me just click on add. So now what I will do, I'll just go to the automation steps. So here my precondition is added before the steps and my post condition is added after the steps, right? So now if I run this particular script, what is going to happen? It is going to navigate me to the home page and it is going to close the browser. And here when we were giving this post condition, there was an option called as must execute, right? Let me just click on this. So let us understand this must execute now. So it is must execute in the sense it is enabled, right? So let me execute this script once. So here if you notice, this particular step group will navigate me to the home page. So all the steps inside this particular step group will pass, right? And then this particular post condition will be executing. Now when I add the steps to this particular script, now what is going to happen? First my precondition will execute, then my steps will execute, and then my post condition will execute. Since I don't have any steps here, what is going to happen? It is going to navigate to the home page and it is going to close the browser immediately. Why? Because there is no steps to execute, right? Let us observe this execution now. I'll just click on run button. See, it is showing initializing execution. Let me sync the status now. So it is still in initializing execution. Let us wait for the execution to be triggered. So now it is showing initialized. So let me sync the status once again. So it is initialized already. So it should trigger the execution in our local machine after checking the client availability. See, the execution is already begun. So now it should navigate to the home page and it should close the browser because post condition what I have given must execute enabled. So it is navigating to login page. It should enter the email ID, password, click on login. And it should verify this home link. And finally, my post condition should execute, which is nothing but close browser, right? Now, let me just sync the status. See, this used to happen when I give must execute, right? Now, what I am going to do, let me go to that particular script. Let me expand this precondition. So let me go inside this particular step group and let me go to this particular step group. So here, if you notice, we have this step, right? We have all these steps. I want one of these steps to fail. So what I will do, I'll just go to this particular step group. Open Shopper Stack, navigate to login page. Go to the step group. So here what I will do, I will go to the third step and intentionally I will give a wrong URL. I will remove this variable and I'm giving a wrong URL. See, this is a wrong URL, right? Now what is the if else checkpoint I have given? Mark this step as failed and stop the script execution, right? I'll just click on update. So now what should happen? My step number 3 will be getting failed, right? Let me go to test development. Let me go to that particular script. My precondition will be failing now. Am I right? Because the URL which I have given in this particular precondition is wrong. So my precondition should execute now or not. So what is the third step if else checkpoint I have given? If the step is getting failed, stop the script execution, meaning that the other step should not be executed. But I want to still close the browser. In that case, I will be adding this post condition in such a way that it must be executed, right? So now it is must execute enabled, right? What I will do, I'll just update it. Now let me run the same script again. It is initializing execution. Let me just sync the status. Again, it is initializing. So let us wait for the execution to trigger. So it's already running. So it should trigger the execution now. See, the execution began. Now it will not navigate to the shopper stack. Why? Because the URL which I have given is wrong. Now only my precondition will execute. Which is my precondition? Close browser. It has to execute now. We will see. this browser should automatically close. See, the browser automatically closed, right? Now what I will do, I'll just sync the status. See, I'm getting failed status. We know why it is getting failed. Let me show that also. I'll just click on the failed status. Let me then go to that particular script. See, my precondition is getting failed. If I expand the precondition, obviously my step number 3 will be getting failed. See, navigate to URL is getting failed, right? Now the same script, I'll go to the same script. This time I'll go to my post condition. I'll just click on this post condition. I will disable this must execute and let me update. So now what is going to happen? The same script execution will be happening, but it will not close my browser. Let us observe. I'll just click on this run button. Let me sync the status. See, it's already running. See, the browser is opening. It is maximizing. Now it will be failing in the navigate to URL step. And this time it will not close the browser because I didn't mention post condition as must execute, right? So what is the third step if fail checkpoint I have given? Mark this step as failed and stop the script execution. What is happening? It has stopped the script execution. Now I'll just minimize this and let me just sync the status. See, it's already failed, but still the browser was open. So here, if I go to this particular script, if you can understand, this particular post condition, we can customize. I'll just click on this post condition. We can customize whether it should execute or not. And what is the advantage of this must execute toggle button? So whenever you are going to run module level execution, so you will be running multiple scripts, right? So now let me update this. Let me give you an example. So here, when we were running this particular 3 scripts, let us assume my first script is failing, right? So it will not close the browser. Am I right? Because in this particular script, I have added the steps for, means I have added the steps with the if fail checkpoint, mark the step as fail and stop the script execution, right? So here if you can see, until verifying the home page I have written. So what I will do, I'll just add close browser. So I'm adding close browser here, right? I'll just click on add. So now if this particular script is failing in step number 2, what is going to happen? It is going to stop the script execution, which means my close browser will not get executed, right? So let us assume that I am running this particular shopper module and it is having 100 scripts and all the 100 scripts are failing in the step number 3. Don't you think 100 browsers will be open in your computer, right? All the scripts are failing, right? If all the scripts are failing, if you are adding this close browser as a step here, what is going to happen? It is not going to close that particular browser. Why? Because this step will not execute only, right? In that case, 100 browsers will be open in your laptop or computer. So don't you think that is going to consume more memory in your computer and which will affect your computer performance, right? So in order to avoid that situation, we have this feature called as post condition, that is must execute post condition. So whether your script is passing or failing, finally I want to close the browser. That is what we are mentioning with the help of must execute here. Whenever you are going to add the post condition as close browser, make sure you are giving must execute. In between your script is failing also, not a problem. It will close the browser so that you can avoid the scenario where multiple browsers are open in your computer, right? So this is the concept called as pre and post condition. Now you might have a question like why we need to have this precondition. Post condition, okay, we have this must execute option. Why we need this precondition? Obviously we can add this particular step as a individual step in steps only, right? Why do we want to go to precondition and add this as a precondition? See, I want to add this as a precondition not only for this particular script. I wanted to add it for multiple scripts. In that case, what you have to do? Again and again, you are going to add the same steps, right? So we have pre and post condition in module level. So we can apply the pre and post condition in script level as well as module level. So once you give the pre and post condition to module level, no need to add the pre and post condition for each and every individual scripts. It will be automatically added. We will see this module level pre and post condition in our next session. Right? Thank you.